A risky combat mission. On the front lines, an elite group advances against the enemy. In minutes, everything could go wrong, or change the course of the battle forever. The 12th Special Forces Brigade of the National Guard of Ukraine, the feared Azov battalion, has a clear mission: to take 4 enemy positions and secure a crucial advantage. But what happened during that operation went beyond expectations. With artillery support, the fighters launched their attack without hesitation. The enemy was caught off guard and within minutes suffered significant losses. Beyond the changes on the battlefield, 2 enemy combatants were captured for interrogation. What did they reveal? And how did this victory shift the front line? If you want to understand the outcome of this story, stay until the end and subscribe to the channel. What you are about to see contains real war footage from the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. It is presented strictly for documentary purposes. We do not encourage violence. Recommended for 18+. Amid the prolonged conflict between Ukraine and Russia, combatants from the 12th Special Forces Brigade of the National Guard of Ukraine, known as Azov, conducted a military operation on the front line. The action took place in a region of tactical importance for both sides, where intense battles have been fought for territorial control. The mission's objective was to improve the tactical position of Ukrainian forces, consolidating strategic advances on the front line. To achieve this, a coordinated incursion was planned, resulting in the capture of 4 enemy positions. This operation demonstrates the dynamics of the conflict, where localized advances can influence the broader evolution of the war. The mission involved a combination of offensive tactics, led by the 1st Special Forces Battalion and the brigade's artillery. During the operation, Ukrainian troops demonstrated a high level of coordination and efficiency.
23 серпня було проведено заздалегідь ретельно сплановану наступальну операцію з елементами рейдових дій з метою покращення тактичного положення в смузі оборони одного з батальйонів.
Україна! Україна! Свята мати героїв! Свята мати героїв! Зійди до серця мого! Зійди до серця мого! Прилинь бурою вітрів кавказьких! Прилинь бурою вітрів кавказьких! Шумом карпатських ручаїв! Шумом карпатських ручаїв! Боїв славного завойовника батька Хмеля! Боїв славного завойовника батька Хмеля!
Пусть приблизить немного.
Приблизь немножко. Я дам команду.
Дайте зум, будь ласка, дайте зум.
Увага, увага!
Artillery support was crucial in suppressing enemy defenses, allowing ground forces to successfully carry out the assault.
Постріл! Понеслась, прием. Концерт по заявкам, начали.
The military impact of the action was significant. Additionally, 2 Russian soldiers were captured and handed over to the competent authorities, potentially for future prisoner exchanges, a common practice in this prolonged conflict.
Нам головне, не потрібно було втратити темп. Це саме основне було. Ми ставили акцент на швидкості. Тобто вся операція по наших рахунках повинна була зайняти до 3 годин.
Йшла задача вирівняти лінію фронту. Ми повинні були зайти, відволікти на себе ворога, провести там бій, зачистити певну ділянку, потім там закріпитись, замінувати її і по ітозі, коли вже інша група штурмова основна закріпиться, зробить цю роботу, зачистить, закріпиться, почне окапуватися, тоді ми поночі мали вийти звідти. Тобто помінувати, поставити монки і вийти.
Там 144, 143, там
Strategically, the advance allowed Ukrainian forces to consolidate a position at a depth of up to 400 to 500 meters on the front line. In a conflict where every meter of territory gained can influence the course of battles, this type of operation has a direct impact on military planning and resource distribution along the front.
Перша група вже захищає.
Втрати є?
Ні.
From a geopolitical perspective, the operation also reinforces Ukraine's offensive capability and its intent to reclaim territories under Russian occupation. In a conflict that has persisted since 2014 and escalated in 2022, every military maneuver carries symbolic and strategic weight, both for troop morale and for the international perception of the conflict.
Ні, своїми рексами так. Хлопці відпрацювали на відмінно.
The operation carried out by the 12th Special Forces Brigade Azov illustrates the intense dynamics of the war in Ukraine, where small tactical victories can significantly impact the front line. The mission's success highlights the importance of strategic planning, coordination between different units, and the effective use of artillery on the battlefield.
Чекали цього моменту. Звичайно, що задоволений.
Зараз прийняв! Працюй!
Все, давай, забирай їх нахуй.
Один до мене!
Beyond the immediate impact on the ground, events like this emphasize the unpredictable nature of the conflict, where advances and setbacks occur constantly. The outcome of such actions will continue to influence the war's progression, keeping the region as an epicenter of geopolitical and military tension.
В ході проведення наступальної операції особовий склад 12-ї бригади спеціального призначення «Азов» проявив себе рішуче, мужньо та вкрай професійно. Нашими силами
The future of the conflict will depend on the ability of the involved forces to maintain their positions, strengthen their logistics, and adapt to the dynamic conditions of the battlefield. Meanwhile, the war continues to shape not only military strategies, but also the fate of the populations affected by the conflict.
Покращити тактичне положення на глибину до 400 метрів та 500 метрів по лінії фронту.
If you're still here, that means you're one of us. Prove it. Drop a like. And answer this. What was more decisive in this operation? The well-planned strategy or the courage and skill of the fighters?